The 911 call was rough, and I didn't even have to listen to it. I just read the transcript of it, and it was awful. Day 2 of Lindsay Clancy's trial wrapped up on Wednesday. It's a great day for a great day. My name is Sydney Rushing. I'm a criminal defense attorney in the state of Michigan. Now let's talk about it. So the morning started off with Patrick Clancy taking the stand and continuing his direct examination. He said how he went to CVS. The jury was showing a video of him being at CVS. He tried to call Lindsay. She called him back around 5:35 p.m. And he said that she sounded kind of busy, and he thought maybe she was giving him a bath or something like that. And the jury saw a video of him at the restaurant 3V picking up the food order. He said it took about 10 to 12 minutes to get home, and he parked his car next to Lindsay when he got into the driveway. He said when he went inside, it was really quiet. He was calling out for everybody. He went upstairs. He saw the locked bedroom, and then he saw the bedroom window open and saw blood. He literally described as seeing it everywhere, all over the bedroom, like splattered everywhere. He then ran downstairs and went into the backyard and found Lindsay face up. He described the injuries that she had. I got to be careful with what I say here, but obviously the mark across her neck, on her wrist. And he said, what happened? She said, I tried to unalive myself. He said, where's the kids? And she said, in the basement. He described where he found the kids. Cora and Callan were in the basement with the bands around them. He did remove those bands. And then he found his son Dawson in his office. He said he just knew that they were gone. He did talk to Lindsay after the incident at one point, and she said she didn't really talk about what happened to the kids. She just kind of talked about like what she went through, and that she heard a male's voice telling her to unalive the children. He was then excused from the stand, but he is subject to recall, meaning that at any point the people or the defense can call him back as a witness. So he is not released from the case. He is just excused for this time. Then the jury got to see some of the children's clothing and the exercise bands. Then the 911 call was played, and the judge did caution the jury to not have like an emotional response, which I don't know how they couldn't. And then it was played, and it was not shown to the public. The judge ruled that it wasn't going to be shared, but I found a transcript, and it is probably the most awful thing ever, because you can just see and hear the emotion in just reading the transcript of it alone, and I just can't even imagine. I'm glad it was not played for the general public, and that, you know, Mr. Clancy doesn't have to deal with that further on in his life and it being all over the interwebs, but I just cannot even. That was like the most gut-wrenching thing to even read, let alone have to listen to. The jury took a break, and Lindsay Clancy was definitely crying. Patrick Clancy was not in the courtroom at the time of the playing of the 911 call, and I wouldn't want to be in there either. Witness number 2 was then called to the stand, and that was Angela Krause, and she is the CVS manager. Basically what she testified to was taking a call about someone asking about Pedialyte. Witness number 3 was Miss Sweeney, who is the one who worked at the 3V restaurant and took takeout orders. She testified to taking Lindsay Clancy's order at 5:10 p.m. and then it was picked up at 5:54. Then after all of that, Patrick Clancy was called back to the stand, and he faced cross-examination from Lindsay Clancy's attorney. Patrick Clancy testified that Cora was named after the first baby that Lindsay Clancy helped deliver. He also had Mr. Clancy testify to all the great things about Lindsay, how she was a dedicated mother, them to music classes, made up music with them, sang with them, all those things. He was asked if Lindsay loved Dawson, and he said yes. He was asked if she resented basically having him, and he said no. It spoke about one of the Google searches that was found on the laptop about an unaliving thing, and it actually had to do with searching a musician, Tom Hall, and that person did unalive himself, and that's kind of how they ended up on that page. And he answered the question about Lindsay trying to get on a bunch of medications or if she was an addict, and he responded, she wasn't trying to get off meds, she was trying to get on the right ones. That's a great answer for the defense. They talked about her going to McLaren Hospital and how Lindsay said she was scared to go and, was worried. And he said, you have to go. And so she did. Talked about Patrick taking a trip and leaving Lindsay with the children for a few days versus the trip, obviously, that happened on the day of the incident. Then they talked about some of the bottles that he had in his console and how the DA said that, they were mostly full, only a couple missing. They were in the console of his truck, to which, he had said that he was getting rid of them. And then today he was told to throw them out because she was getting an updated prescription. Not that she was pill shot, which obviously paints an entirely different picture. And Patrick was shown a notebook that Lindsay Clancy kept and asked if he knew about this notebook and her supposed to keep track of how the meds make her feel and all that. And he said that he wasn't aware of that. Then the district attorney got to do her redirect of Patrick Clancy. One thing that was clarified is whether it was a 20-foot drop from the window or a 12-foot. And the answer is 12 feet. It was a 12-foot drop from the windowsill to the ground. And then at that point, Patrick Clancy is done testifying. He is now excused. After a heavy day of testimony like that, the court finished for the day, and they will convene on Thursday. Thank you for being here. Thanks for following along. And here's the question of the day. What are you thinking about this trial so far? Let me know in the comments.